Opening in 1924, Booker T. Washington High School was Atlanta's first public secondary school for black students. As with other Southern school systems at the time, the Atlanta Board of Education disproportionately allocated funds towards white schools. The Atlanta Neighborhood Union, a black women-led social activism organization, surveyed existing black schools in 1913, proving them overcrowded, unsanitary, and lacking materials. Led by the local NAACP chapter and neighborhood union, the black community mobilized, registering and voting against education bonds in 1918 and 1919 that did not support black schools. The pressure produced a referendum that included a black high school and increased funds for black schools. Washington was the only secondary school for black students until 1947 and has produced prominent alumni and educators, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Lena Horne, and Dr. Lewis Sullivan. Erected by the Georgia Historical Society, the Riches Foundation, and Atlanta Alumni Association of Booker T. Washington High School, Inc. This is Booker T. Washington High School that produced alma mater such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Lena Horne, Dr. Lewis Sullivan, and yours truly, P9. Let's go. Good morning, good people. This is P9 with another vlog, and I'm here in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. And it's been a minute since I've done a vlog in Atlanta, but it's been quite a while ago. But here I am, and I'm over here at the Center Park Credit Union, which is home of the Georgia State Panthers football team. But this was formerly the site of First Atlanta Fulton County Stadium back from 1966 to 1967. This is back when the Atlanta Braves played here. And then around the Olympics is when they built Turner Field, where the Atlanta Braves played for at least a good 20 plus years. Probably about 19, 20 years, something like that. And now we're over here in the gentrified Summerhill neighborhood of Atlanta. So we're gonna do a little drive around, and I'm gonna show you the gentrified part of, well, a lot of Atlanta's gentrified actually, but this is again, Center Park Stadium. Used to be the Atlanta Braves Stadium. Turner Field, but now is the Center Park Stadium. Georgia State, some years ago, they bought the property where the Turner Field used to be, and they built a football stadium for the Georgia State Panthers football team, and they've been here ever since. And so we're gonna ride around what's called the Summerhill Neighborhood. Now, when I tell you guys, all my native ATLians know, back in the day, Summerhill used to be one of the worst neighborhoods in the city. So could you imagine having a Major League Baseball team playing in one of the worst neighborhoods in the city? Well, that's what happened with, I'll check out, they got a statue of Hank Aaron right there. Hammering Hank Aaron. But yeah, it used to be real rough in Summerhill, but now it's gentrified. It's a lot Looks a lot different than what it was, obviously, back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, all of that. Looks pretty nice. You know, looks pretty nice. Looks like a pretty chill area. You have coffee shops and little restaurants. Pretty good place to come socialize, it looks like. Nice artwork, of course. But I'm over here by Phoenix Park. So you're going to see a lot of trees. You're going to see a lot of trees on these streets. Atlanta is known as Tree City, USA. So it does help a little bit because, you know, being that obviously this is the South, lots of humidity, heat, all that good stuff. Atlanta has a lot of trees, so that does kind of help with shade a little bit, you know. But on my way here, I was going up 75. I was going up I-75, and I was actually shocked at how little traffic there was. You know, this is Atlanta. Atlanta is notorious for traffic, and I was able to get here with ease, you know. So, but a lot of that is attributed to the fact that it is Sunday morning. So, I mean, that could be a huge reason for that. But yeah, I'm riding down Connolly Street. So I see a lot of for rent signs on these houses, on a few of them. So I guess they're renting out a lot of these houses over here in Summerhill area. But yeah, I was partially raised in Atlanta. I spent my formative years. You know, I know I was born in Atlanta, and I spent a lot of my childhood moving around from Texas to Alabama. And then finally, like in my formative years, my adolescence, that's when I moved back to Atlanta. And when I was living in Atlanta, the housing market, it was real cheap. It was real cheap to get a house in Atlanta back then. And we're talking like the early 2000s, you know. A lot of people were coming to Atlanta. It was a huge wave of people coming in to Atlanta from especially New York. We had a lot of people coming from up north. And we had, after Hurricane Katrina, we had a lot of people coming from New Orleans. So Atlanta was definitely a place where a lot of people was flocking to, and it still is that like that today, you know. So much so that the housing market is exploded. Like a lot of houses have went up drastically in the prices. So much so that they made, and then of course it contributed a lot to the notorious traffic. So much so that you see a lot of memes on the internet saying, "Don't move to Atlanta, we're full now." Yeah, but right now I'm on Hill Street. So I'm kind of in the Grant Park neighborhood, Grant Park area now, at the corner of Hill and Memorial Drive. Memorial Drive is another major highway, or major thoroughfare, I should say, in Atlanta. It rides all the way through Decatur and Stone Mountain as well. And there goes the MARTA bus that just passed by. But not a whole lot of people out this morning. And this is Father's Day, by the way. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there holding it down. It is Father's Day as of the recording of this video. Yeah, in Atlanta, you're going to see a tons of new developments. It was like every time I would leave Atlanta for an extended period of time, come back, there's always massive construction going on. You're going to see a lot of these apartment buildings, luxury apartment buildings being built. Like this wasn't right here. This is on MLK Junior Drive at the corner of Hill Street and MLK. And this definitely wasn't here last time I was in Atlanta. So they're always building high rises, apartments, and stadiums. It just seems like a never ending expansion of the city, you know. There goes the MARTA train right there, you see passing up. You know, on the elevated platform. So I'm over here on the corner of Hill Street and Decatur Street. I think I'm gonna turn down Decatur Street. Yeah, I'm gonna turn left down Decatur Street. Fix these roads over here though. These roads are real rough. But I'm over here by Grady Hospital. Shout out to all my Grady babies. The real ATLians, they always, always brag about, oh yeah, I'm a Grady baby. I was born in Grady. I wasn't born in Grady though. I was born at West Paces Ferry Hospital. I don't even know if that hospital still exists or if it's been bought out. I'm not sure. But shout out to West Paces Ferry Hospital. So I'm now in the Georgia State University region of downtown. So Georgia State University has a downtown. It's literally a downtown campus. Like it's a downtown college. So for those that might be interested in attending Georgia State, you're gonna be right here in the midst of downtown. I'm at the corner of Decatur Street and Piedmont Avenue. And Georgia State has also done a lot of renovations and additions to their school, and new buildings and all type of stuff, new housing for the students. You're not a true ATLian. A lot of people like to say, oh, you're not a real ATLian, or you're not from Atlanta if you don't know about such and such place. But this place right here on the right, It's called Walters. It's a shoe store. They sell work clothes and all type of different apparel. They sell hats, New Eras, all that. But Walters was the spot. I used to go here every now and then and get my fitted caps, and sometimes I go get my shoes. And it's nostalgia pulling up over here by Peachtree Center, because Walters used to be the spot, and it's still open to this day. It's like it's a staple here in Atlanta. All my ATLians, y'all know what it is. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This is kind of like the rundown part of downtown. Around Peachtree Center and 5 Points, it's real bad. Like, you know, it's real rundown. But I'm over here at the corner of Decatur Street and Peachtree Street. I'm gonna see if I can circle back around and go in the 5 Points area. They got a statue of Henry W. Grady right there. He was a journalist and major, he was a major journalist from here in Atlanta. There's a high school named after him, as a matter of fact. I think they changed the name of it though, if I'm not mistaken. It used to be Grady High School. I think they changed the name of it since then. I'm over here now by the Centennial Park area. Centennial Olympic Park, Omni Hotel. This is the CNN Center right here. Over here by the CNN Center and what used to be called the Phillips Arena is now State Farm Arena. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there goes the statue of Dominique Wilkins over there. I don't think I can get a good shot of it, but they have a statue of Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight film, one of the NBA legends, one of the greatest dunkers of all time. He played the majority of his career for the Atlanta Hawks. Between him and Jordan, I don't know who was the greater dunker. They go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium right there, by the way. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the Atlanta Falcons. remember any of this either. This is heading more towards like the Vine City area. They gentrified Vine City as well, like crazy. Vine City was another, rough area, rough neighborhood in the city. It just amazes me how much these cities change, you know. There's a lot of investments being made that have been made into the city in regards to changing it. But, different people have their own opinions, their differing opinions about gentrification. Some people say it's to help, it's to basically revitalize the city. And some people say it's a way to, push poor people out. So, you have your varying opinions on it. But at the end of the day, it is something that happens frequently, especially in a lot of big cities. And Atlanta is one of those cities that's about trying to maintain, trying to keep their, maintain their status as a world-class city to attract more people, to attract more businesses. So gentrification, they might have felt like it was a very important way to do that, to attract more businesses, industries, and stuff like that. And check out this is called Castleberry Hill. This neighborhood has changed as well. They got the really nice murals. They have a Mexican restaurant. You're just gonna see a lot of new developments in this area, some old developments as well. But this is definitely Atlanta. And check out this. Red Fox, Bernie Mac, Richard Pryor, Dick Gregory. I just saw like a little painting of those great comedians. And that's like a comedy club, I believe. Check that out. That mural right there. Big B Mike 2C. I was able to see the artist of that mural right there. It says God is love. That's really dope. It is really dope. Every time I see a nice mural, it catches my eyes. So shout out at B Mike 2C for the mural right there. You see it looks like a kid right there flexing the muscle. It's really cool, really cool. Riding down Whitehall Street into Memorial Drive, downtown. And right there on the right, that's the detention center right there. They have the Georgia Department of Community Supervision Building, Judicial Court, or Judicial Circuit to the right. City Detention Center. I'm over here by the MARTA station, Garnett to be exact. I'm at the corner of Peachtree Street and Mitchell Street now. And they have a lot of the Fulton County buildings over here. Government buildings. Go down this way. Yeah, it's real rundown around this area. This is the area around. This is the 5 Points area. This is 5 Points. The Metro Mall. I remember that it was some cop. It was like some Metro Mall like security officer or cop or something like that that went viral. I think he had his own like channel or something, or went viral. It was crazy. It was crazy. People used to go in there and people used to act a fool. But these places, yeah, it's real bad down this way, like as far as how run down, and it's very sad to see these type of conditions, you know what I'm saying? Like it's such a juxtaposition between a certain socioeconomic group or a certain, you know, like living conditions and whatnot. You know, you got a lot of homeless and addicts down this way. This is underground Atlanta, by the way. This is the underground Atlanta. Back when I was a kid, it used to be the place to be, you know. For a long time, it was the place to be. People, you know, people would come to Atlanta, and that was one of, like, believe it or not, it was one of the like major draws to Atlanta at one point. It was a major tourist attraction. You know, it's definitely historical for, you know, Atlanta's role in the railroad industry. But now it's just, I don't know. I don't know if they're making any improvements to it, or if they, you know, or anything like that. But it's just, yeah, it's every time you come down to this part of the city, it's just like real bad, man. It's real bad. You should see a lot of people just strung out, and it's so unfortunate. But this where you see the Coca-Cola sign used to be where the World of Coca-Cola is. It's now over there by the Centennial Park. But this is Woodruff Park. You guys have seen it in my first Atlanta vlog that I've done, like almost over a year ago, actually. I did a vlog right here in Atlanta, and I started off at Woodruff Park. So this time I'm doing a driving edition. And this is right at the heart of downtown, right here. You have the library over to my left. You have the Peachtree Center MARTA station and a slew of hotels. That's a nice Subaru in front of me, by the way. That thing is clean. Yeah, you have the Ritz-Carlton right here to the right. Peachtree Tower. Westin Hotel. Wow, did they close that Hooters? They sure did. That Hooters is closed now. Wow. Oh, snap. They closed the Hooters on Peachtree. This used to be the spot, man. It used to be the hangout spot, man. Those who know. But they closed down the Hooters. Wow. I think it looks like they closed down. Did they close down the Hard Rock Cafe? It looked like nah, they still open. I think they are. Nah, I don't know. I couldn't really tell. That goes to show you how how badly this place has went down. Like, I wonder, yeah, I wonder why they closed down. I wonder if crime had anything to do with it. You know, the amount of homeless and things that might have been affecting their business. I don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. But if you go further down Peachtree straight, you're gonna wind up in Midtown. Wow. Yep. Well, you guys saw it here first. This is literally, I just found out at the time of the recording of this vlog. Yeah, I had to get out the car for this one. I'm over here at the Atlanta Government Walk, and this is where the major government buildings for the city of Atlanta are located, and for the state of Georgia overall, being that Atlanta is the capital. So in this area, you have the City Hall, which is right over here, Atlanta City Hall. And you have, what you call that, Talmadge Plaza over here. And of course you have the State Capitol building, Georgia State Capitol building with the Golden Dome. Yeah, Atlanta City Hall. This is City Hall Tower. Check this out. This is interesting. Never seen this before, but this has a whole bunch of names on it. A Poem for Our Children by Pearl Cleage. We remember everything in days where there is sunshine, our nights when there is rain. We remember everything. Some will say it was a long time ago, but to us it seems like yesterday, because we remember everything. What we wore, what made us dance, what heartbreak made us cry. We were young mothers back then, our proud new daddies, trying to figure out how and understand why, and find a way to love our babies well enough, long enough, and strong enough to make them shine like new money. We were too young to understand that. They came here shining, they came here singing. A Poem of Our Children, or Poem for Our Children by Pearl Cleage. Shout out to Pearl Cleage. Oh, there's more to it. There's more to it. They came here bringing the best of who we were, the best of who we could be, would be, wanted to be for them, because of them already shining like that brand new money, already sweet as every kind of honey. They were our babies growing up so fast, and we tried not to be afraid of a world that might not have a space for them, that might not make a place for them. We were too young to know they came here with their own space, their own place, their own promise to the universe already fulfilled and blessed and amplified and sanctified forever and ever. Amen. We remember everything, their laughter, their tears, and our own. We remember big wheels always in the way, and Laffy Taffy, and those red, white, and blue popsicles that stained their lips and dribbled down their shirts and made their hands almost too sticky to kiss. Almost, but we were young then, and even at the end of long days, we would somehow find the time to share their love of basketball, or hear the early hip-hop anthems they memorialized in one day, or admire the latest shoe to catch their eyes. We remember all that. So when we think of them, we think of the first smile, first step, first sleeping through the night, We think of sunshine and spirit, ancestors and angels, and the things that connect us one to one and each to each in a long unbroken chain of love and love and love and love. We remember because they still live in us, still sing in us, still shine in us like brand new money. Our babies one by one and each to each forever and ever. Amen. We remember everything. This is a dope poem right here by Pearl Cleage. It looks like it was written October 21st, 2019, right here in the ATL. Okay. So I'm still trying to understand. If anybody in the comment section could tell me the significance of these names, please let me know. They obviously must be deceased. I'm not sure, but if you guys, yeah, because I did not even knew this structure even exists right here in over here in Atlanta in the City Hall. The City Hall was built in memory of Father Thomas O'Reilly, who in November 1864, by courageous protest to the federal forces preparing to burn and evacuate the city, saved from the conflagration of the following buildings, then located in this vicinity: the Atlanta City Hall and Courthouse, the Church of the Immaculate Conception, St. Philip's Episcopal Church, Trinity Methodist Church, the Second Baptist Church, and the Central Presbyterian Church. And this building was erected by the Atlanta Historical Society and the City of Atlanta after the 5 churches named in 1945. So that's just to give some historical context of Atlanta City Hall. This is the Talmadge Plaza Park right here. Now this is the Georgia State Capitol building right here. Unfortunately, it's fenced off, so I can't go on the grounds of it. There's a lot of historical artifacts over there as well, statues and whatnot, historical markers. But the only thing I can really see from here is a statue of Richard Russell. Let me see if I can, as you can see that statue right there, that's of Richard Russell. But right here where the Georgia State Capitol is presently located, it was actually the site of the first Atlanta City Hall. But once the city of Atlanta was assigned state capital, after the capital city was relocated from Milledgeville, they decided to make this particular site the Georgia State Capitol building, and they built the building with the dome. And on the dome, they have a statue of what's called Miss Freedom. Miss Freedom was originally named the Goddess of Liberty. So this was commissioned in 1888 and added to the Georgia State Capitol Dome in 1889. So a lot of Atlanta has changed after the Civil War. As you can see right across the street, you also have Central Presbyterian Church right there. But yeah, you had a lot of changes in Atlanta after the Civil War because of the fact that it was burned. Atlanta was burned, basically. So, but yeah, this is the state capitol building. Again, I wish I could see more of it. If it wasn't fenced off, I'd definitely be over there. But nevertheless, there you have it. On November 15th, 1864, after destroying Atlanta and cutting his communications with the North, Major General W.T. Sherman began his destructive campaign for Savannah, the March to the Sea. He divided his army, 60,000 infantry and artillery and 5,500 cavalry, into two wings, one to move via McDonough and Monticello to Gordon, feinting at Macon, and the other via Covington and Madison, feinting at Augusta. The right wing, Major General O.O. Howard, marched from bivouac areas in the vicinity of Whitehall early that morning, and the 15th Corps towards Jonesboro, the 17th Corps towards McDonough, the 3rd Cavalry Division, Brigadier General J.L. Kirkpatrick, covered the right wing and the left wing. So basically, in a nutshell, in order to capture the South, General W.T. Sherman burned Atlanta, and he made his journey towards Savannah to try to also capture that city. So he was just on a serious campaign for the march through the sea. It's another famous piece of Atlanta history. Courthouse, Government Center. I'm over here on Pryor Street, corner of Pryor and Mitchell. About to turn on the Trinity Ave shortly. Police department just pulled somebody over. Greyhound. See, this on the left is the Greyhound station. they rebuilt the Greyhound station. Thankfully, they modernized it and everything, because it used to be right over here, and it was a real small Greyhound station for a city of Atlanta size. And there goes Magic City right there. hey man. Hey, I like to consider P9 Travel Vlogs a family-friendly channel. So I'm not gonna go into detail. Those that know Magic City know what Magic City is. It's right across. We used to make jokes, right? We used to be like, people that are coming through Atlanta, if you have a layover on the Greyhound station, you know, the advantage of Atlanta's Greyhound station, based on where it was located, it's located directly across the street from Magic City. So if you're on a long layover here in Atlanta, you would kill some time by going to Magic City and indulge in the type of activities, or indulge in the, you guys know what I'm saying. Those that know. Shout out to Magic City. Shout out to the ATL. On my way towards Midtown. Around the Emory University Hospital area. Matter of fact, there's Emory University Hospital on the right. Making my way towards North Avenue. All Saints Episcopal Church right there on the left, and behind it is the Norfolk Southern building. Shout out Norfolk Southern. So now we're part of the city of Atlanta that has more of the office buildings. It's a mix of office and residential, and it looks like they redid that Norfolk Southern building. Either they redid the building or they relocated it into a more modern building. But I'm over here riding down Peachtree Street. Here now, getting into the Georgia Tech area. Georgia Institute of Technology, aka Georgia Tech, Midtown. And as usual, they're doing construction, road work. 8th Street. So I'm over here at Tech Square around Georgia Tech University. Now, Tech Square is just basically like a hangout spot for the Georgia Tech students. They got restaurants. They have a Barnes and Noble. They have a conference center, taverns, you name it. They even have a hotel and conference center, which is to my right. Now, yeah, they have a whole bunch of residential buildings over here, as you would imagine. It's Midtown, so you're going to see a lot of those. A lot of redeveloped areas. To the right is the Varsity. The Varsity is one of the premier locations right here in Midtown. It's a staple, really, especially for like old Atlanta. Under the tunnel, not the tunnel, but the underpass. World of Coke on the right, World of Coca-Cola in the Centennial Park area. Also did a vlog in this area in my first Atlanta video. So if you guys haven't seen the first Atlanta video, go check it out. That was during my early days of P9 travel vlogs. Early days of the channel. That Centennial Park on the right. It goes out there, you know, of course, the Centennial Park, and that was built during Atlanta's hosting of the '96 Olympics. Just passed by the Skyview Ferris wheel. And over this way is also the Georgia Aquarium and CNN building. They have a college football Hall of Fame as well. And to this day, they're still doing redevelopments in the area. So Atlanta is officially a mega city. I mean, it's crazy how much additions and redevelopments that they do in this city. About to turn down Marietta Street momentarily. Omni Hotel to the left. And there goes that College Football Hall of Fame museum to my left. For all my college football enthusiasts out there. It's also surrounded by slew of hotels. You have the Embassy Suites, Hilton Garden, got the Georgia Aquarium, of course, straight ahead in the Centennial Park area. Atlanta Fire Department. Passed by the Georgia Aquarium. It's really cool, really nice out this Sunday afternoon. good to see the people walking around enjoying themselves. To the left is the Children's Museum of Atlanta. So that, in a nutshell, encapsulates the Centennial Olympic Park District. Moving away from downtown, we are heading down Northside Drive, the Castleberry Hill neighborhood. Spelman College. Spelman College are all women's youth college right here in Atlanta. So yeah, Spelman College, which is an all women's college right there on the right, and then you have on the left you have the Morehouse School of Medicine. So you have Morehouse on the left, which is an all male school, and Spelman on the right, all women's school. Of course, historically black universities, HBCUs. So it goes Morehouse over here. Morehouse College and Spelman, they're probably like two of the most. They're like definitely one of the top tier HBCUs in the nation. Definitely some of the most well-known HBCUs in the country. Due in large part to, because a lot of people went to Morehouse. If I'm not mistaken, Spike Lee went to Morehouse. You know what I'm saying? And then, and if you ever look, like from a cultural standpoint, if you look in black culture, you see, if you ever watch the show Martin or the Cosby Show, they will oftentimes, it was almost like they will promote the colleges through the TV shows. Like you'll see Bill Cosby wear a Morehouse, a Morehouse sweater, or you might see Martin wearing a Morehouse hoodie or something. They did that a lot back in the 90s. And also you also have, in addition to Morehouse and Spelman, you have Clark Atlanta University, and they're all located in the West End neighborhood of Atlanta. So West End is like immediately, just as the name suggests, it's immediately west of downtown. I'm on Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, formerly known as Ashby Street. So a lot of history in the West End. This is also the neighborhood where, this is the part of the city where the famous rapper Lil Baby grew up. He's from the West End. West End is one of the oldest neighborhoods outside of downtown. And as you can see on my left, the left is the West End Park. You see some of the houses right here in the West End. It's interesting to see if they've done any, I don't think there's really any gentrification going on in West End. It might be one of the last historically black neighborhoods that's still predominantly black. I could be wrong on that, but I doubt they did a lot of gentrification. I think a lot of it is still very much historically black. And you have the Al Fatah and Al Fayir trading company. So they sell incense, black seed, sea moss, okay, body oils. Yes, definitely. It still has that historically black neighborhood attached to it. So it's still a historically black neighborhood for sure. Still pretty much looks the same. Which is good. It's always good to maintain the historical, the historical look, the historical feel. And also in the West End, you have the Hammond's House Museum. That's a popular site here in, it's basically an art museum right here in the West End. Now that I think about it, now that I'm in the area, I might swing by the historical museum that is a high school, Booker T. Washington. I might swing through there. Booker T. Washington High School, which is also located off of Ashby Street. They may have done they may have done a little bit of gentrification in the West End area. tight up on this street right here. Look at that mural right there. In this community I thrive, for this community I serve. The Powerhouse Creative, okay. See, they still have a lot of the black businesses still here. A lot of black residents still in the area. Passed by the Lonnie Watkins building, West Hunter Baptist Street Church. Got to hit this left on Peoples Street. You also have the Willie Watkins funeral home to the left. That's a staple right here in Atlanta, specifically West End. Howell Park. Yeah, the West End Library to the left. Yeah, I remember the West End Library. We lived in the West End neighborhood for a little while. Yeah, there it goes to Hammond's house right there, the Hammond's House Museum on the left. You guys can't see it, but I just passed by the Hammond's House Museum. They do tours there. It's just basically a museum that has African American art, things of that sort. It was established in 1988. Yeah, for the most part, the West End pretty much looks the same. It doesn't look like anything new out here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, depending on how you look at it. People that are, especially people that are really connected to the neighborhood, people that grew up there, probably, you know, would much rather it not be a whole lot of like changes or redevelopment of the area, you know. But if you go over there by the by Washington High School, around that area, but go further down, Martin Luther King, they have done a lot of and I noticed that the last time I came to Atlanta a couple years back, they did a lot of redevelopment down that street on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. check this out over here. Yep, this is the West End Mall right here. The West End Mall looks like it's for the most part closed. Yeah, this West End Mall looks pretty condemned. It looks condemned. I think the only thing I see that's open is the American Deli over there. But for the most part, it looks like this bad boy is all but done for. It's done. And for people that grew up in Atlanta, specifically in this neighborhood, this was this was the mall to go to. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot in West End Mall, to be quite frank. To be honest with you, it wasn't much. It wasn't a whole lot to choose from. But you can come here and get a haircut though. You can come here and get a haircut and everything like that. Get your hair done. They had hair braiding places, People would sometime come here and get something to eat. But if you wanted to go major, like clothes shopping or something like that, some people will hop on the train and go all the way out to Lenox Mall. Or maybe some people will even go like the Greenbrier. But yeah, this is the West End Mall. It's where it used to be the West End Mall. Soul vegetarian spot right there. But yes, this is the historic West End neighborhood. So the neighborhood itself, just to give some historical context behind the West End neighborhood. The West End neighborhood, again, is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city of Atlanta. It was established actually back in 1835. So this was around the time that Atlanta was starting to, my apologies guys, as I was giving the history of West End, my camera shut off due to overheating. So I had to let it cool off, but I'm back. So yes, back in the 1800s, there were a lot of wealthy Atlantans who built large estates right here where the West End is. So they also have what was called the West End and Atlanta Street Railroad, and they had the Westview Cemetery. And the West End and Atlanta Street Railroad was organized by Thomas Alexander, M.G. Dobbins, Benjamin Broomhead, B.J. Wilson, J.W. Goldsmith, John Harwell, and they had a horse car route that started downtown and went via West End Avenue and Ashby Street to West End and the Westview Cemetery. So this was before, this is way before obviously Atlanta became a major city. I don't even think Atlanta was called Atlanta back then. It might have though, but Atlanta used to be called Terminus and Marthasville at one point in time. But yeah, that's basically a little background of the West End. Yeah, it used to be a lot of wealthy. It used to be somewhat like a suburb of Atlanta, but that was just immediately located west of the city. So between 1894 and 1930, West End grew in regards to wealth and population, prosperity, all those things. This used to be a Gut Busters, by the way, right here where this Rack's Fish and Chicken is located. It used to be a Gut Busters. Back then, they served like little cheese steaks and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember the West End. I remember the West End. Then they started developing schools and churches in the 1920s. Dennis Hammond was a notable resident back then. He eventually became the 18th mayor of the city of Atlanta. You also had Evan Howell, who was part of the Confederate Army, served during the Civil War. In a nutshell was the West End. Riding down Lee Street. In the West End. Just past the station, West End MARTA station. Got the West End apartments to the right. So they actually have done some gentrifications in the West End area. So I stand corrected. I just want to come back and see what the old neighborhoods look like. See what type of changes they've underwent. They're building something right there. Possibly some more apartments. Yo, check this out. They got this new development, or at least as of 2018, it's a new development. I'm about to go check it out. White development. Let me turn around. Let me go down Donnelly and see if I can come back around and see if I can go to that development. Because I read up about this development actually. See if I can. Donnelly Avenue now. I just passed by a sign that said they're actually building some townhomes. So they're definitely doing a lot of redevelopments to these old neighborhoods. Few bandos over there. It's actually, I saw like 3 bandos in a row. But you know they like to keep up. The cities like to maintain the property values in different neighborhoods. So if there's not a lot being done to the buildings and stuff like that, then either the city's going to come in and take over, and you're going to have developers come in too, like you're gonna have these developers, these investors. They're gonna, a lot of times they'll come in, invest, they'll make investments and stuff like that, and then from there, there's going to be development that ensues in hopes of increasing the property value. So if there's a lot of abandoned houses and, you know, a lot of stuff going on, stuff that's just sitting there, you know, and if these developers see potential in the area, and, you know, especially if there's not a lot of crime and things of that nature, they see potential in the area, they're going to come in and invest, and they're going to invest in like reconstruction and redevelopment of the area. It just basically keeps it to where the property value increases, and it also makes different parts of the city basically livable, and where people might want to, you know, people may want to come in and open up a business in that area, and then it's going to also attract potential residents. You know, Atlanta is one of those cities that just definitely wants to maintain. They don't want to have that basically that reputation of being like a city where a lot of people don't want to move to. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're just not a huge fan of, unless you're not a fan of the big cities and the huge traffic and all that type of stuff. This is called the West End Academy. But the building itself used to be J.E. Brown High School, which served the West End neighborhood, and eventually J.E. Brown High School became J.E. Brown Middle School. But yeah, this is Rose Circle Park. Yeah, but you guys probably got a lot more than you bargained for this Atlanta video. But I want to go check out this development over here. It's called Lee White. And it's just another example of the many redevelopments in the city of Atlanta. So I'm gonna go ride around, check it out. And also another massive project that's ongoing here in Atlanta. Definitely have to make mention of the Beltline. Beltline is a series of trails and parks being built through Atlanta. And the Beltline, they started developing the Beltline way back when I was in high school. We're talking over 15 years ago. I hate that I'm showing my age, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, this is part of the Beltline redevelopment project. It's called Lee White. So it goes to show you that they're taking these older neighborhoods like the West End and investing in redevelopments and just making sure that the city stays to where people would potentially want to move here. So it looks like it has like a boxcar type theme to it. You even have the greetings from West End ATL right there, the mural. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's really nice. They developed a park over here as well. Again, part of the Beltline Trail. It's really cool, man. It's really cool. I'm gonna do a video, and I'm gonna do a video specifically vlogging in the Atlanta Beltline. I think that's gonna be a pretty big hit too. I'm gonna cover the Beltline. But yeah, I just passed by a pink and black striped boxcar. There goes a boxcar right there as well. So it looks like it has a theme to it. It's pretty nice. West End joint. So they got a dispensary over here too. Wow. But they have a boxcar restaurant, boxcar at Hop City. Huh. Pretty cool, pretty cool. They have some nice murals as well over here. Now check that out. They have like a little Grady outpatient health center right here. I've never seen anything like that. They have a outpatient center right in the midst of a entertainment district. But that's really cool though. That's really cool. I did not know they had this right here. It's called Lee White. Over here off of Lee Street in the West End. Pretty cool, huh? About to turn on to these railroad tracks over here on Sylvan Road. And this used to be a rail, like a rail yard, and even back in the day, back in its heyday, with all these abandoned buildings you see, this used to be a major industrial area in Atlanta. It used to be this it used to be this neighborhood, which is Sylvan Road, Oakland City area. It used to be this neighborhood. Also, it used to be a neighborhood called Mechanicsville and a neighborhood called Pittsburgh. Those were like industrial hotbeds right here in Atlanta. So you see the railroad tracks I just passed by. There was a whole bunch of former like warehouses and things like that over in this area. But I was interested in coming to this area because during my formative years, when I was in high school, I lived in this area, more specifically Dill Avenue, which is where I'll be riding down momentarily. I was interested to see if there's going to be any type of redevelopments and things like that. And check this out. Right here at the corner of Dill Avenue and Sylvan Road, they have what looks like some building is getting ready to be constructed. Yeah, this is Dill Avenue right here. Yep, I literally lived on this street. It was me, my mom, my stepfather, my older sister, and we also had the Rottweiler. And we had to have the Rock because this was a pretty bad neighborhood back when I was growing up. But now it seems like it's changed a lot. Yeah, I see a lot of the changes. Definitely looks different. Definitely looks different. There goes the True Deliverance Church. And right to the left, bro, that was our house right there. Yeah, our house is right here on Dill Avenue. It looks practically the same, but it's a lot of changes as well. That used to be the convenience store right there, that red store right there. It looks like now it's like, I don't even know what that is now. Looks like a convenience store. I'm getting this mural right here. Shout out to this artist at Tolu Wab. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's TOLUWAOB. That's the IG handle for this artist that put together this really dope mural right over here in the Dill Avenue neighborhood. It says Black History, Future, Present. Okay, dope. This is dope right here. So different generations of black women right here. You have grandma, the daughter, and you have the mother right here. So this is a really good representation. Embrace, love, protect it here. Live, joy, rage. So it's just a range of emotions. But this is really cool art piece. Again, the IG handle right here. You can also see the handprints. Those are pretty dope. It's IG at Toluwo or TOLUWAOB. I believe that's a B at the end. I'm gonna go check that out. Check out the portfolio of artwork. It's really nice. I'm at the corner of Ralph David Abernathy and Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. Joseph E. Lowry and Ralph David Abernathy, two major influential names in black history as it pertains to the civil rights movement. I just turned down Lowry Boulevard, and Lowry Boulevard used to be called Ashby Street a long time ago. We're around the colleges of Clark Atlanta University, Morehouse, and Spelman. I just passed by the historic Harvey Stadium, which is where the Morehouse College football team plays. And there goes Morehouse College, of course. This is over here at Morehouse College. can't ride through Morehouse College without mentioning Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is where, during Dr. King's junior year in high school, he enrolled at Morehouse College. And to the right here is Clark Atlanta University. So we have Clark Atlanta University, Morehouse, and Spelman all within the same university complex, within walking distance from each other. Excuse the noise. Hope everybody can hear this video very well. I had that's a nice mural right there, by the way. I had the AC on, so hopefully the noise of the AC didn't completely drown me out. But I'm just in the neighborhoods that's surrounding the colleges. This is Parsons Street. Here on Lowry Boulevard. Back here in the old neighborhood. Man, I can't believe I'm back in the old neighborhood, for real. I'm gonna turn down MLK Jr. Drive, and I'm gonna come back down the other side of MLK Jr. Drive. Nice mural right there. It says "Visionary for Justice." Yeah, this neighborhood changed a lot. Now you know, there goes a Chick-fil-A on the left. You know, if they put a Chick-fil-A in a neighborhood, that says a lot, because you never will see a Chick-fil-A in the hood. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, but they also have this restaurant called Busy Bee. That's on the right. That's a historical restaurant here. And you have this Walmart. So they have a Walmart over here. Yeah, Busy Bee sits across the street. Busy Bee established 1947. So we're talking almost 80 years in operation. JR Crickets. And right here at the corner of MLK Drive and Joseph Lowry Boulevard, you have this quick stop grocery. we used to informally call it Sue Store. It was Sue Store because it was an Asian lady and some Asians that owned the store. Oh, they got a Zaxby's right there. Zaxby's, that wasn't there before. But yeah, they had a lady by the name of Sue. They ran the store. It was some Asians that ran the store. And yeah, it was crazy. We used to go there. The students used to go there every day after school. And you had some that was still out of the store. I ain't even gonna lie. But yeah, this is the historic Booker T. Washington High School. So this is what I tell you when I tell you guys this is a landmark. This is one of the most historical monuments of a high school that you're going to see in America, especially within the black culture. This is Booker T. Washington High School. And across the street are a bunch of bandos. So I'm not even gonna lie to you. We have a historical college, or excuse me, a historical high school by the name of Booker T. Washington High School that put out legends such as Dr. King, Lena Horne, to name a few. But it's located right across the street from a few bandos. That's how old this neighborhood is. But yep, that's the alma mater. Before I proceed to the BT Dub, I wanted to cover this area of the West End. Very historical black district. Right here, what you have is the Citizens Trust Bank. And on August 16, 1921, businessmen Heman E. Perry, James A. Robinson, Thomas J. Ferguson, W.H. King, and Henry Dugas, known as the Fervent Five, opened the African-American owned and operated Citizens Trust Bank on Auburn Avenue to serve black Atlantans. The bank played a key role in the community, promoting business growth while facilitating home ownership for a larger number of African Americans. In 1934, the bank was the first African American owned bank to gain Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation membership, aka FDIC. And in 1947, it became the first African American owned bank to join the Federal Reserve System. In 1955, Citizens Trust Bank opened its first branch location at this site that you see before me, right here on Ashby Street. Today, Citizens Trust Bank is one of the United States' largest African American owned financial institutions and remains headquartered in Atlanta while serving communities across the country. So if you have a Citizens Trust Bank within your vicinity or within your region, come holler at Citizens Trust Bank. A lot of history right there. Really big form of history right there. Really big part of history there. And this is the Callaway building next to the Bethel Community Church. And this is another historical building right here. This is the Atlanta Inquirer building. In August of 1960, Atlanta businessmen Jesse Hill Jr. and Herman J. Russell Jr., together with members of the Atlanta student movement, including Julian Bond, Charlene Hunter, Lonnie King Jr., and Johnny Parham and Marion White, established a newspaper that disseminated vital information about and to the youth-led movement. Kusuth Hill served as the first publisher and M. Carl Holman as the first editor. Under the leadership of Holman, the Inquirer served as a counterweight to media outlets that declined to report on race-related developments and misinterpreted the student movement's goal and tactics. The Inquirer vowed to cover the news from a fair and impartial perspective and without fear or favor. Known as the voice for the voiceless, the Inquirer served the public by providing independent news coverage during the 1960s and beyond. So this is the Atlanta Inquirer, and this building right here, this is where they operated out of. And y'all heard that right? Yes, it's all about independent journalism, for sure. Very much important, because independent journalism, you know, you get the news, you get the information from an unbiased and impartial perspective. Atlanta Inquirer definitely believed in independent journalism. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So God help me. Yeah, I'm just talking my noise right now, but yeah. But yeah, that's Zaxby's, bro. That definitely wasn't there when I was growing up here. But you have these nice murals right here. These weren't here either. I don't remember these murals here, but they look really cool. And this looks like one of the Native Americans. Looks like one of the black natives. You see the darker, kind of the darker hue in the skin. Looks like one of the black natives. I'm not sure. But this is really cool, really nice. Really nice. Really nice spray painted mural right here. And they even had the cans right here. And of course, there goes Booker T. Washington right there. BTW. Founder of Tuskegee University, or Tuskegee Institute, whatever you want to call it. And the Atlanta Exposition speech delivered by Booker T. Washington. Dill for youth. Why can't we wait? At 3 Nuff 86, A for youth. So shout out to this is it says a new deal for youth. A new deal for you. Shout out for 3 Nuff 86. That's the social media handle for the artist of this really nice mural right here. 3 Nuff 86. Peace and unity. There goes a Native American right there. A lot of our ancestry and our bloodline stems from the native indigenous people. You have the musical notes, and you have Booker T. Washington once again. Art justice. Art justice. And it sits right outside this building that used to host a barbershop, an insurance company, a Lincoln shoe repair, law offices, and a beauty shop. A shell of what Atlanta used to be as far as, you know, black enterprises and ethnic enclaves. We definitely need to bring that back to black culture for sure. But this is Ashby Street. So stay tuned for more footage. Yeah, I had to step out the ride for this one. I'm on the campus of the historic Booker T. Washington High School. The first, and I mean the first, predominantly black high school in the South. Opened in 1924. And so just a year ago, they celebrated its 100th year anniversary. And this is actually the first time that I've been back to this school since I graduated over 15 years ago. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, this is the front of the school. And this is the statue, the historic Booker T. Washington statue, lifting the veil of ignorance from his people and pointed the way to progress through education and industry. So yeah, this is the grounds of Booker T. Washington, and they definitely did not have all of these banners here when I was here 15 plus years ago. But check this out. They have this one right here. He lifted the veil of ignorance from his people and pointed the way to progress through education and industry. Lifting the veil of ignorance statue. And I remember when I was in high school, I remember my freshman year in high school here, they had us read, for our literature class, they had us read Up From Slavery. It's actually a pretty good book, pretty dope book, you know? Yeah, that's nice right there too. They got the graduation. They got a graduation right here on the banner. One school, one family. But yeah, they had us read that book, Up From Slavery. And Booker T. Washington was a very, very smart man. The Atlanta Exposition speech. If you haven't listened to that or heard that or saw that one, listen to that speech. Definitely go check it out. And we also have the first principal of Booker T. Washington High School, Mr. Charles Lincoln Harper, 1924 to 1942. So almost 20 years as the principal. And you know, this is why I said earlier that this high school is practically a museum. It's more than just a high school. I mean, yes, it's a high school, and it, you know, services students, you know, educates them or whatever, but it's also a museum. It's that historic of a monument. You know what I'm saying? This is the this is what we call the teaching theater. Back when I was going here, they called this a teaching theater, but it's the auditorium. Why they called it the teaching theater, I don't know. But it's the auditorium essentially. We bleed royal blue and white. Okay, for sure. Yeah, most definitely. This is my, I'm gonna tell you guys, I'll tell you in a second. I want to also make note that this was this building was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1986 by the U.S. Department of Interior. So yeah, this is a very historical building, to say the least. That's how you know when you put a high school on a historical list, on the historical places, that speaks volumes to how monumental this building is. But I had, this is basically like my own personal homecoming, because ever since I've been out of high school, I have not attended one homecoming game, event, none of that, bro. But like, it don't mean that doesn't mean though I forgot about where I come from though, you know what I'm saying? It's just that, you know, life be lifing, you know? Y'all know how that go. me go this way. This school is 100 years old and counting. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know how many generations that is? I'm trying to remember what these paw prints right here when we were attending. I can't even remember. I honestly haven't really kept in contact either with too many of my people I went to high school with, to be perfectly honest with you. That's what happens though, you know, like I said, life be going on. It's nothing personal. This is the gym over here though. This is the gymnasium. It has Bulldog Country class of 86 on it. Class of 86, shout out to them. I also have to mention that when I first started attending Washington High School, my freshman year, I think I'll probably say my freshman and sophomore year, we weren't even at this building. We weren't even at this building because this school was undergoing a massive renovation at the time, multi-million-dollar renovation, and basically, yeah. So they basically shut the school down. They was working on it for 2 years. We'll say about 2 years, and at the time the students of Washington High School, they had us on a site called the Archer Building. It was where Archer High School used to be on the west side of Atlanta. And when I tell you, that school, it was practically like being in a dungeon. Like if you had a cell phone, you basically not gonna get any service in that building. That's how it was, practically underground. I mean, it will be a good I'll tell you, it'll be one of those what you call those things, it'll be one of those good shelters, you know, in the event of a bomb or whatever, you know. But yeah. But you know, we were so glad when they finally finished this building, when they finally finished the renovations, and we were able to come here and everything was brand new. Now it didn't take long, of course, for, you know, students to, you know, it didn't take long for you know, for us to get readjusted or to get adjusted to the building. But you know, we were glad because yeah, Archer High School site was terrible, man. But it feels good and refreshing to come back to a place where, you know, I spent my formative years here, you know. So feels good to come back and, you know, create my own little homecoming. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But this is where I would like to end the Atlanta vlog. So thanks everybody for watching this video. It's been a really cool video back here in Atlanta, and I'm gonna plan on doing a series where I go to a bunch of metro Atlanta areas, you know, different cities and towns within the Atlanta metro area, so that way we could cover the metro Atlanta. So yeah, thanks you guys for tuning in once again. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell. And when you hit the notification bell, make sure you hit all. And also, you know, that ensures that you get notified each and every time I drop a new vlog. And if you're feeling generous, feel free to tap on the PayPal or the Buy Me a Coffee links. Links are in the description box as well as the bio. And any donations, big or small, will greatly be appreciated. And the donations will go back into the channel as far as content creation is concerned. So once again, people, thanks again for watching this video, and see you guys on the next one. Peace.